Well, what's up, guys? Chris Brown from Train Boston coming at you with a quick nutrition tip of the week. This week's tip is to create a support group. Now, this tip can work for anything really motivational. It doesn't have to be specific to nutrition, but it works really well for nutrition and fitness in general. So, what do I mean by create a support group? Well, I mean find one person or more that shares a similar goal to you. Now, they don't have to have the exact same goal for this to work, but they need to know that what you want, and they need to know what they want, and they need to be pretty similar. You can't just have ambiguous friends because they probably won't care about the same things as you. So what I like to call this person is an emotional spotter, or you can have multiple emotional spotters, and they can help you in the gym with real spotting, or they can help you outside of the gym, hopefully both. So find friends or create friends that you look up to and spend more time around them. So that's important. These people need to be people that you respect and that you want to emulate. They can't just be friends who make you feel better by association because you do things better than them. They need to be people who maybe slightly intimidate you, or you're really astounded by how well they do certain things. Find those people, or if you already have friends like that, find out what those habits are that make them successful. Copy their habits, find out through conversation or just watching them. Maybe you haven't watched them closely enough, or maybe you just never really asked. So ask to see if they can show you how to do certain things. For instance, how did you cook that meal? Or how do you get such great results with your workout? Do you have a personal trainer? Do you go to a certain place? Do you have certain habits that you do that help you stay on task? Continue to prod into their strategies. Maybe you sit down and have a coffee. It doesn't have to be awkward. It doesn't have to be uncharacteristic of you, but just actually inquire. You can start it off pretty well by being flattering and just saying, man, you look so good, or man, your workout was so awesome. How'd you get there? What'd you do? Maybe you could share some advice. Usually people will take really nicely to that, and they'll be glad to share with you. Another thing is, make sure those people, you can be competitive with them. Now, oftentimes when you hear competition, you think of people who are a little obnoxious. I'm not telling you to be mean about it, or try to hold off information from your friend, or actively try to hamstring them emotionally or physically. I'm saying try to be better than the person next to you so you guys can drive each other. Seeking out competition will always push you to be better. There's been multiple studies on that. When you're competing against other people right next to you, people you see daily, which is important, you will do better. And that's not just physical challenges. That's every kind of challenge there is. And that can be for a lot of reasons. Probably you don't want to look bad in front of them, but also you want to catch up to something. Another little tip on this is to check your ego, though. So a lot of people, when they compete, they like to be around people they're a little better than. You see this a lot, unfortunately, especially online. People go and seek out areas where they can just kind of beat up on people, or they can look better. You see that in bodybuilding. Sometimes competitors will go to competitions where they clearly blow everyone else out of the water. You can see it in all kinds of competitive terrains, but that doesn't make them better. It actually just drives them to stay where they are, but they're never going to get better. They should actually go and seek out people who are specifically better than them. And you should take that habit and utilize it yourself. Find people who are better at prepping food, cooking, waking up and going to bed at good times, all that stuff, exercising regularly. Find people who they just seem to be better at all these things that you struggle at. Admit that you aren't great at it, and maybe even bring that up to that person. Say, hey, I don't know anything about protein. I don't know anything about preparation of food. I really struggle figuring out which foods in the grocery store are healthy. Do you have any tips for me? Is there a website I can look at? That kind of thing. And realize that while it is a sin to be envious of people, technically, it's okay to be jealous. It's all right, but just get over it. Try not to linger on that. When a peer or a friend has something that you want, rather than make up reasons why they have something that you don't, excuses, ask how they got there. Maybe take a closer look at their life. It's usually not as straightforward as they were just born with it. Maybe they are genetically a little blessed, but that's never the whole story. It's easy to dismiss things as, hey, they got good genetics or they have lots of money, but oftentimes there's more to it. Some people are just lucky, and sometimes things won't work out the way you want, even when you do things just right. But there's always more to be gained from all those situations. Next, be part of a group or a team. Multiple studies have shown that in fitness challenges specifically, participants perform way better, like around 30% better in the studies that I read, when they know their teammates are relying on them. Now, that doesn't matter whether they're a little bit better or a little bit worse, or that certain events aren't quite the same. But it does matter that they feel like they're an important part of the team. So, for instance, if you were to play football on the Patriots, most of us aren't pro football players. We probably wouldn't be all that motivated by all these awesome genetically gifted athletes. So you need to find a team, maybe a football team that's a little more on your level, stay-at-home moms and dads playing flag football, where you're actually competitive with them. But this also goes along with nutrition. So if you're going in a nutrition group and everybody there is a fitness model, you're absolutely not going to feel great about that. You're not going to feel like you're pulling weight for the team. So try to find people who are actually like you. And this is why your trainer, your coach, your nutritionist, your doctors, they don't really motivate you. Because A, they're not on your team. They're like your coach, right? They're telling you how to do things. They've already done it, probably, hopefully. But also they're not right there in the trenches with you. And you don't feel like you need to do something to help them, and so it doesn't help you. When you help people, when you're a good example for other people, it actually motivates you and it motivates them. You guys feed off each other. Humans are very social beings, and it helps our drive and our motivation when we feel like there's something going back and forth between those two people. So a good example of this is finding somebody who's nutritionally challenged. For instance, joining a group like Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers is just the first thing that came to mind. But any kind of group. You can text back and forth between your friends. You can join a Facebook group. You can join a fitness group where people are also working on their nutrition. It doesn't matter what it is, but as long as you guys have a similar goal and you're a little bit competitive but supportive, and you guys are actively working consistently day to day, you will be better at every single thing you do. All right, guys, well, give it a shot. If you don't already have an emotional spotter, a friend at the gym, or a group that you're joining, please look for something. If you don't find it, don't give up. It will come. Just look for those healthy habits. Look for those good habits like exercise, nutrition, good sleep, and you'll eventually come across other people with the same habits. It will take work, but when you get there, you'll be feeling a lot better and eating healthier and being overall more well. All right, guys, that's all I got for you this week. Until next time, thank you and be well.